Today, we are diving deep into something that so many of us get tangled up in: people pleasing. We're going to really look at the architecture behind why we do it, and more importantly, how we can build something way stronger in its place. Oh, does this hit close to home? You know that feeling, right? That internal battle where you're agreeing to just one more thing, but your entire body, your entire soul is just screaming no. If you have ever felt that conflict between what you say and what you actually feel, you are in exactly the right place. So here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack that feeling of being trapped by our own niceness. Then, we'll get into a fascinating concept called the Fawn response. After that, we'll look at the real cost of always saying yes, totally reframe what boundaries are about, and then wrap up with a super practical guide to building your no muscle. All right, let's kick things off with this idea of being trapped by being nice. For so long, we've thought of people pleaser as this label, like it's just a fixed part of who we are. But what if there's way more to the story? And right here, this is the crucial reframe. People pleasing is not some flaw in your character, not at all. It's actually a brilliant adaptive strategy that you likely learned a long, long time ago just to keep yourself safe. So let's think of it as a survival tool, not some personal failing. Now, this survival strategy actually has a name, and it's really the heart of this whole explainer. It's called the Fawn response. This might be a new psychological concept for some of you, but I have a feeling you're going to recognize it instantly. Okay, so most of us know about fight, flight, or freeze, right? When you're facing a threat, you either gear up to fight it, you run away from it, or you just become paralyzed. But it turns out there's a fourth response that researchers have identified: fawn, and it belongs right up there with the others as a totally fundamental human survival instinct. So what in the world is fawning? Well, it's basically an attempt to dodge conflict and find safety by becoming whatever someone else wants or needs you to be. You appease, you agree, you just merge with their agenda. You're essentially making yourself a smaller target by becoming incredibly helpful and agreeable. So how does a response like this get hardwired into us? Well, it often starts way back in childhood. If you grew up in an environment where love felt kind of conditional, or maybe a parent was emotionally unpredictable, a child learns pretty quick to monitor and manage the emotions of the adults around them to feel safe. And over time, that very conscious strategy just becomes an automatic, unconscious habit that we carry into adulthood. Okay, so fawning was a super useful survival tool back then. But what's the cost of using it all the time now as an adult? This is where it gets really interesting, because the very same behavior that was designed to keep people close can actually end up pushing them away and damaging our relationships. And this right here gets to the heart of the cost. See, every single time you say yes when you really truly mean no, you're betraying a little piece of yourself. And that self-betrayal, it doesn't just vanish, it builds up, it accumulates into resentment. We might think we're angry at the other person, but so often that anger is really pointed inward, at ourselves, for abandoning our own needs again. This really shows the trade-off we're making. On one side, you've got the mask of the constant yes. Sure, it gets you surface-level harmony, but it's built on this shaky foundation of hidden resentment. But on the other side, you have true intimacy, and that is built with strategic, thoughtful no's. That's what creates real connection and mutual respect, because people finally get to know the real you, not just the mask you're wearing. So this brings us to the solution. I know a lot of us who lean towards people-pleasing are terrified that setting a boundary is like building this giant, mean wall, that it's aggressive or selfish, but we have got to reframe this. This distinction is everything. A wall is built out of fear. Its job is to keep everyone out, and that just prevents any real connection. A boundary, though, is completely different. A boundary is an act of self-respect. It doesn't lock people out, it just shows them where the door is. It invites them to connect with you in a healthy, sustainable way. At the end of the day, boundaries are not an act of rejection. Think of them as an act of instruction. You are generously, clearly teaching people how to have a healthy, safe, and respectful relationship with the authentic you. So how do we actually do this? How do we put it into practice? Well, it's not like flipping a switch. It's more like training, kind of like going to the gym for your own personal resolve. It's time to start building your no muscle. Okay, the key skill we have to develop here is something called discomfort tolerance. It's simply the ability to sit with that wave of guilt or fear or anxiety that rushes in right after you say no to someone, and not immediately cave and go, oh, okay, never mind, I'll do it.
And it's 100% like a muscle. It absolutely gets stronger with use. The very first time you say no to some small request, that discomfort might feel massive. But the more you practice, the more you realize that, hey, you can survive that feeling. And you know what? It fades pretty fast. Every single rep builds your strength.
And the workout plan is actually really simple. First, you've got to start small. Say no to a really low-stakes request. Step 2, and this is the toughest part, tolerate the feeling. Just breathe through that discomfort without caving. And third, repeat. Just keep doing it. Consistency is what really builds this muscle in your confidence. So let's just do a quick recap. People-pleasing isn't a character flaw. It's a survival response called fawning. And while it might have kept you safe in the past, today it's probably creating resentment and blocking real intimacy. The way forward is by setting boundaries, which aren't walls, they're just instructions. And you can get way better at this by practicing discomfort tolerance and building that no muscle. And that leaves us with one last question to really think about. Remember, a boundary isn't about slamming a door in someone's face. It's just about showing them where the door is. So what's one small, gentle door you could show someone this week to start building a healthier, more authentic relationship?